As you can see, I'm repping that BMT. No matter where I go, no matter where I be.
Representing for my brother BMT.
Got my man Austin in the building. What up, bro?
What's good?
Travel is life.
This how we roll. Look, I just happened to get off the elevator. Look at it. The BMT shirt on. You know, we representing all the way in Thailand, man.
This shirt is so dope, man. It shows off your guns, fits your muscles, gives you room at the bottom for the belly, and then you repping the BMT brand, man. So make sure y'all pick up that BMT shirt because it's fire. It looks good. He got them in different colors, and I'm telling y'all, man, the fit, it ain't that cheap bullshit. It's a real quality shirt, man. I love it, BMT. Shout out to you, man. Thank you for blessing me with the shirt, and I'll see you on the other side. You dig?
Yeah, go cop the new merch.
All right. And we are live. Welcome, family, to another show. It is your man, BMT, in the house, man. Hope all is well with the family. I know I haven't done a live in quite some time, but we are here. Let me know if I'm coming through loud and clear on the audio. If the audio is good, do me a favor and press the 1 because we got a lot to talk about today. I'm going to tell you, gentlemen, 2 stories, one domestic, one abroad, about how this child support can definitely affect you in your travels. Not even so much the passport being revoked. More so just about it hindering your finances. Okay, we definitely gonna chop it up about that, and I'm also gonna give you guys some solutions to this as well because we're going to a different day and age. You know, a lot of guys are globalizing, a lot of people are traveling more, and that passport is definitely something that you want to have handy. All right, in your tool belt. All right, especially as a man. Let's just put it that way. So yeah, man, let's see who's all in the building. We about to get this show started, man. We're gonna have a good one tonight, man. Shout out my man Rolling Travels in the building. Says, what's good, fellas? What's good? Where's Milano? Shout out to Where's Milano, man. I'll be watching you, Milano. I'll be looking at your videos, bro. Shout out, he said my child support paid up until next year, so I am good. We got one in the comment section. Okay, the audio is going through good, man. The audio is going through good. Before we get started, man, I hope you guys have been tapping into the interviews I've been doing. I've been doing a lot of interviews, some street interviews, some talking head interviews where we just sit in one location. But the reason I do these interviews is so guys can get more than one's perspective on traveling. And in some cases, I might even, do some interviews, interviewing the women, their responses, to traveling and dating as well. So you guys can really just tap into the information. So if you haven't, check out my long catalog of interviews. I think I'm at like a couple of 100 interviews right now. Last interview I did was in Cambodia. Actually, last interview I did was in Thailand, man. So check out the interviews that we're doing because it's important. Because when you listen to a traveler's video that's giving information, they're telling you their unique perspective on their experience. Okay. Right. And I've heard guys say information that I don't necessarily agree with, and some information that I do agree with. But like I say, it's all about your perspective. And that's why it's good to have multiple perspectives, right? Because you're not going to really get the experience until you travel on your own. All right, I've had guys to say countries were hella racist and hella prejudiced, but I had the same guys or other guys say that they love the country. They never had any issues in that country. So it's important to just get multiple perspectives when it comes to traveling and the experiences, man. All right? Somebody said no children for me. A lot of people not having children no more, man. A lot of people not having kids no more. Listen, you know what's funny? I just had my daughter, so she's 2 months yesterday. 2 months little daughter, shot at my little baby girl. But it's funny, man, because a lot of my family members, and I think even some of my friends, thought that I could not have kids. And I always did that strategically because All my homies that I went to college with, all my friends that went to high school, college with, they all got thrown on child support. I'm talking about all 100 of them. Oh, and I just kept hearing about the stories, all right, of, guys getting their check garnished. I remember one time I was working for this logistics company. This is way back in the day. This was like, I want to say almost 15, maybe 10 years ago, right? And of course, we used to pick up our checks from the office. So, we pick up our checks, and I picked up the wrong check, right? Because I think it was the guy we got the same first name or something like that. So I picked up the wrong. I opened up the check, and I'm sitting here like, I'm not even looking at the name. I'm just sitting here like, what the fuck? I'm like, oh hell no, this ain't it. This is the wrong check right here. So I ran up in the office of HR. I'm like, yo, this is the wrong check. This is like a couple $100. But then we looked at it. It was somebody else's name. It was actually a guy I knew pretty well, actually. And I just felt sorry for him, right? Because he had bust down like 60-something hours for that week. He bust down about 60-something plus, maybe 70 hours for that week. And I just saw that shit was like a $250 check. Because I think he had like 2-3 kids. All right. So, hey, it changes lives. Let me say that. It definitely changes lives. Who we got all in the building, man? Let's see. We ain't live in a minute, man. Where y'all at? Where y'all at? Tap in. We got a good conversation tonight, man. Tap in. Tap in. All right. Somebody say y'all in trouble. All right. Whereas Mano says, I might have to do a video on this as well. Hey, man, it affects a lot of people. I'm going to play the clip in a moment once we get a few more people in the room. But it is going to affect a lot. Unfortunately, it is going to affect quite a few people. All right. It is going to affect quite a few people. Before we get to the story at hand, shout out to my man, Texas Gold Smile. I think I know who that is right there. Hold on. Here we go. It already started. Hold on. Let me catch this comment real quick, man. AWBATC 2012. All right. It says BMT, this had to be a Black American female lobbyist group behind this because America has more issues than men with child support getting the passport. I don't think it goes that deep, brother. I don't think it goes that deep. As a matter of fact, Obama actually started this. This was in the Obama administration when this actually started. It was just at a very high number of back child support. I believe it was $100,000 that you had to owe in back child support. But as you're going to see in the video, they did change that under the new Trump administration. Some of you guys are Trump fans. I don't know why. I'm not a fan of no politician. I don't do politics, man. Politics ain't nothing but payola, in my opinion. But some people would debate me about that. Don't go into those debates. But yeah, I don't think it's that deep, though, brother. I don't think it's those sisters out there, doing that or anything like that. Michael Ross 2385 says, child support is yet again another one of America's scams to funnel resources to females and the government. You know what's funny, man? It's like, and you might not agree with me with this, but child support, yeah, it's set up kind of messed up. I'll admit that. But you do got deadbeats out here. You do got dudes that feel like they don't have a financial responsibility when it comes to their kids, right? You do have kids that, boys and girls, man, that, got to pay for daycare, got to pay for Pampers, got to pay for certain things. So I'm not necessarily mad at that. My thing has always been they should put it on a card. I think they were talking about that a while ago. I feel like they should put it on a card to where that the money is going to certain services. Like that on that card you can only pay for daycare services, you can only pay for certain things that are associated with childcare, food, whatever. But it shouldn't be like a blank. It shouldn't be a situation where she can just spend the money on weed and shit. You know what I'm saying? That's what most of them do. As a matter of fact, I'll be honest with you. I'll be a buck with you. And we're not bashing the women here or the sisters, but I'll be a buck with you. It's women traveling on child support right now. I know this for facts. I know this for a fact. It's women in Colombia right now living out child support. Okay? Women in Thailand right now, right in Bangkok, living out child support. They using child support like it's disability payments or something, or early retirement right now. They still travel. Baby mamas just travel. All right? You know what kind of scares me though? And we'll get to the subject at hand in a moment, but I would say what really kind of scares me, fellas, is the fact that I see a lot of videos on TikTok of single moms, multiple kids in impressionable ages moving to Thailand, right? And they're getting so much support, and that's cool to get support. Do what you do. But it's just like I've seen whole entire neighborhoods go to straight shit. Decatur, Donia, Georgia, Southwest Atlanta, and all these places went to total shit. And I used to wonder why. Like, how could a thriving black neighborhood just hit the bricks so bad, right? And of course, you got drugs, but in my generation, there was drugs, but there was also Section 8 housing, man. You know what I'm saying? That shit is detrimental to your environment, basically. You got your shit situated. Say you coming from a 2-parent household, you got, you and your wife and everything, but the kids down the street, they're not getting disciplined because they ain't got no dad in the home. Section 8 projects and shit. That shit changes things drastically. It ruins neighborhoods, right? Because the kids just not getting the discipline that they need at the house. So to see that traveling, that formula, broken families traveling, I can only see that ending bad. I can only see that ending bad. All right. On top of, I just think that, in my opinion, I say this shit too. They kicked me out of a Facebook group because I was saying my opinion. I was like, man, if you're trying to move overseas, you're trying to come to Thailand like everybody else and shit, but you got kids, man. Wait till your kids get through school. Unless you got the money to send your kids to international school. Like, wait till your kids, like, you're breaking them up from their fathers 9 times out of 10. You're breaking them up from their family circle. They're going to be out here by themselves. You're going to be highly stressed out. I've seen it with my own 2 eyes. All right? They're going to be highly stressed out trying to raise them kids on your own. And it's a different culture, man. It's a different type of culture in these schools out here. So you got to be aware of that before you make that move to Thailand. My man said, Season Potter says, final month of child support. My son been working since he's 15. It's a scam. Well, let me ask you this, Season Potter. What, do you think it should be all on the men deciding how much they give to the woman? You don't think government should step in at all? You got a lot of deadbeats out here, bro, that won't give their kid $1. They won't give their kid $1. All right. What up, my man Punch Travel Channel? What's up to you, brother? Appreciate all the love. Also appreciate you putting up content on the Passportbros app. We're going to release the new version soon. Should be coming out next month. You guys are going to love this version. It's on the wraps now. Because we definitely, shout out to my developer, we definitely switched it up. But so many people are stealing ideas and everything. I heard somebody mention certain things, certainly a YouTuber, I guess he looked at, the app and, came up with his own. So we're going to keep the new version under wraps, but we're going to release it sometime in June. But shout out to you, Punch Travel Channel, man. Shout out to you, man. My man, y'all in Spain. All right, Brazil. We actually linked up in Brazil, had a good ass time. So shout out to my man, Punch Travel. All right, my man say facts was B. What's up, Edwin? Edwin, what I owe you, brother? Hold on, do I owe you a T-shirt? I think I owe you a T-shirt, if I'm not mistaken. All right, I think I still owe you a T-shirt, brother. I know I owe you something. It's a T-shirt or something, a hat, something like that. All right, I know we put the link. All right, D Frank 1870 says America is so shit at starting a business that some people need to do that. They're turning the country effectively into a slavery system. Ooh, that's a deep one right there, Frank. 1870. You went a little too deep, right, brother? You went a little too deep. Talking about child support. You're going into the economics of the United States. You know. Excuse me. I will say it's getting rough. I still think America is the best country to make money in. Personally, I will say that, and it's one of the better currencies to have. Of course, you got the British pound, stuff like that. But you know, if you in America, man, you definitely have access to a lot of opportunities. And I tell cats all the time. I say, hey, listen, these other citizens of these other countries, they can't sit there and just borrow money and not pay it back. See, some of these banks, they ain't got no credit system like that. That's one thing about the United States because of its dominance. The economic dominance, man. We're able to borrow money, pay it back. In certain cases, sometimes not pay it back. You just get your credit score. Hey, man, that's a blessing right there for real. But these other countries, you just can't walk in the bank, especially as a black person, and just go get $50,000 like that. You can't bid up business credit, a couple $100,000 like that. So America definitely has its opportunities because now relationships, on the other hand, yeah, the social aspect of America, it's done. It's been a wrap. I'm not saying you can't find the right one in America, all right, but man, be careful, man, because in a lot of cases, I feel like, especially my young brothers, men in general, are being misled into thinking that the American fairy tale still exists. It's there, but it's turned into a nightmare in most cases. Not all cases, but in most cases. Okay. All right. What my man Ash? It's my man Ash L. You guys be changing y'all. Oh, it's okay. You change your YouTube name. Y'all be throwing me off. Y'all change y'all names, man. Chicks can delete. Hey, hold up. Y'all going deep. We got 67 in the room, guys. Do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button. All right. Chicks can delete a whole bunch of babies, but you will get your whole life ruined for not paying. Ish is crazy to me. Yeah, that's true. That's true. They can eat a whole lot of babies. They be messing their bodies doing that bullshit too, though. Hold up, Edward says, "What up, BMT? Yes, you owe me 2 T-shirts. I live. Live you by the Tiger Park. I don't know what that means, but and the flea market in Pattaya, Thailand. Okay, yeah. So I got you 2 shirts. If you're here, I'm gonna print some new shirts next week. I got you. I think you're like a 3X, right? I got you, bro. I got you. As a matter of fact, Edwin, I think you already got my email, but hit me on email, man, so I can pick out the shirts. All right. By the way, while we mentioning that, hold on. While we mentioning that real quick, we just dropped some new. We just dropped some new shirts, by the way. Let me see if I can pull this up. Hold on. Here we go. Over here. Yeah. Right here. Where is this at, man? Hold on. Let's see if we get PMC. Let's see if it pops up in Google yet. Okay, yeah, here we go. So we just dropped some new cuts, man. We dropped a few new cuts. Hold on. Let me share the screen real quick. So yeah, hold on. Here we go. Where's it at? All right, there we go. All right, and there's the new website. All right, so we got the BMT merch. Let me know. Hit me on email. Let me know which one. All right, you can either screenshot it or just send me a link. And I got you those 2 T-shirts, man. It was an amazing time back in the day, man. This is like a lot of pictures was like during COVID. We were traveling around the world. Shot my man Jay Clyde. All right. You got guys in Colombia. You got guys in Brazil. It's a story behind every shirt, too. It's a story behind every shirt. And that's what I love about this travel movement, man, because it's more actionable in my opinion. Right? It's more actionable. Like you get the shirt, you go to the destination of your choice, whether it be Thailand, Brazil, Colombia, rock your T-shirt, man. It's a beautiful thing, bro. It's really a beautiful thing, man. Travel in general is a beautiful thing. Especially I love the old stuff. But yeah, guys, check out the link is at the top. Matter of fact, I will post a link in the comment section. You guys can check it out. All right. And we've sold shirts in the thousands, man. Brothers rocking shirts. All right. The ladies like the shirts. Is that the right? Hold on. Let me make sure that's the right link. Yeah, I don't know why it's so long. But yeah, that should be the link. What up, Cerebral? What up, brother? Bro, I gotta go by your shop, man. I gotta go by the by your massage shop very soon, bro. I got a crack in my back. I got a crack in my back, man. Me and the wife gotta stop by there. All right, we be on baby duty, but we gotta stop by there, man. I pass by your spot all the time too. Shout out, man, Super Aptitude. All right, shout out to you. All right, so let me go ahead. I want to play this.
Now we'll begin revoking.
All right, here we go. All right, so some travel updates. This is dealing with child support. Now, I think for the most part, this order has been in, went in under the Obama administration actually, and the child support order was like $100K. I don't think most guys owe that much in back child support. All right, I don't think that most guys make that enough money to owe that amount in back child support. Some maybe do. I know in Georgia they take your licenses away. They be pretty. They be something else with that damn child support, man. They be trying to get you for sure. All right, but this is the new update. All right, this is the new update right here in concerns with child support. Let's hear what they got to say.
The U.S. State Department now will begin revoking the passports of thousands of parents who owe a significant amount of unpaid child support. Officials say that change will now begin today. It will focus on those who owe $100,000 or more. That would apply to nearly 3,000 American passport holders. It's expected to expand to those that owe $2,500 or more.
Now that's where it's going to hit you. I'm playing one more time, but that's where it's going to hit. I know it's a lot of brothers that owe more than $2,500. That's not a lot of money to get behind. That's easy to get behind when your child support is like what's average child support for most guys, like $500 to $700 a month. All right. Oh, let me catch my comment about Man Street real quick. He says, "Oh my OMG, my girlfriend fired and hired so many. She knows the girls with talent brought in so many brothers." Yeah, man. Oh, my man, tell the maid back. Oh, so you in Thailand, Edwin? Okay. Hit me up, man. Put that video one more time, though. So that's really the big, like I said before, this has been going on since the Obama administration. I remember when it first dropped to what was Obama back in office, like 2019 or something like that. But it was $100K. And like she said before, $2,500, that's going to hit a lot of gentlemen right there. It's really easy to get behind for $2,500.
The U.S. State Department now will begin revoking the passports of thousands of parents who owe a significant amount of unpaid child support. Officials say that change will now begin today. It will focus on those who owe $100,000 or more. That would apply to nearly 3,000 American passport holders. It's expected to expand to those that owe $2,500 or more.
Queen City News Plus.
All right. Let me catch the super chat here. Shout out my man Super Aptitude, the $10 super chat, man. I really appreciate that, brother. First super chat of the day. He says, I have to start doing some lives at the massage parlor. Most definitely, man. We could do a whole show. Let's do a whole show at the spot. You got a nice spot. Shout out to you, brother. All right, Ray Hanna says, what makes Brazil different than their states? In Brazil's family court is in favor of the women. Peace and blessings, brother. I don't really know too much about I know in some I know like the DR. I haven't looked deeply into the child support situation in Brazil per se, but I know in the DR it's like a set amount. It's just like a scale. Like this is what you're gonna pay monthly. It doesn't matter how much money you make, you know. So it depends. But you know, I remember having a neighbor. I got two situations in concerns of child support, and guys had to stop traveling. Right, I had a neighbor back in the day. Right, and this is when we first kind of started traveling. You know, this had to be. I think I started traveling seriously in 2017. Damn, that's almost 10 years ago. God damn. Damn, that's damn it. Well, the time flies. But so this had to be maybe like 2016 or 2015, something around there. And I had a neighbor, right? He was maybe like 2 years older than me at the time. We in our 30s, we in our prime. And we used to have conversations. I remember him telling me, you know, we used to talk about, you know, how difficult it was dating in Atlanta, something seriously. And I remember he was telling me, he was like, man, I just want to have a kid. He was about like 37, 36 at the time. He's like, man, I just want to have a kid. I don't even care no more. I just want a kid. I gotta seed me something. I don't care. I'm like, bro, I wouldn't do that shit. I said, man, I wouldn't do that. I said, listen, bro. I said, man, it's a sticky situation out here, especially in the city. You know, these women, you know, they see you got a good little job, they're going to get you for child support. For some reason, they don't put the street cats on child support. They only put the hardworking good dudes on child support like that. You know what I'm saying? They run to the courts ASAP. So he ended up getting this chick pregnant, some random chick that he used to, you know, hang out with, go to the club with, whatever. You know, she initially tried to put the baby on her boyfriend because she had a boyfriend. The baby came out. My homeboy was like, neighbor was super light skinned. I think she was dark skinned. So the boyfriend at the time could tell that wasn't his child. You know what I'm saying? He was like, wait a minute. You know what I'm saying? This baby high yellow. I'm dark, you dark. Ain't no way. So eventually they did the DNA test and everything like that. It came back to my neighbor. And I think within a month, she had a bunch of paying child support. Now, keep in mind, my neighbor had recently just started. We both had recently just started traveling, right? We had both. The world had just opened up for us, and he made that decision. This man has not traveled since because he can't afford to. He got to pay $700-800 a month in child support, right? We all know that. You know, you working class, you got to pay taxes, you got to pay your living expenses and everything. You got to pay car notes and everything. So that $700-800 month surplus to $1,000 surplus is really all a lot of brothers got. In most cases, all right. He had a good trade. He used to fix ATM machines and shit. His whole life changed. You're talking about all types of crazy shit. But he hasn't been able to travel the country in a decade because he can't simply afford to. All right. That's one situation. All right. Another situation. I'm in Medellin. This had to be 2020. You know, I met a gentleman out there. You know how it is in Medellin. You know, you meet different expats and everything like that. And we had the black men travels popping, we wearing the shirts. At the same time, you got I think it was like a group called Black Women Travels or some shit like that out there in Medellin. Either the Black Women Travels or Sisters with Travels, Sisters with Passports. It was one of them little movements they had going on in Medellin as well. So we go out and we run into some sisters. The sisters is cool. The sisters are cool, you know. You know, we hang out a few times and everything like that. And he started, you know, smashing one of the sisters out there in Medellin. I told him specifically, I remember telling him, I said, first of all, I'm like, man, I don't know why you even go that route. You know, it's cool to hang out with him. It's cool to even kind of do your thing with him. Hey, we all adults, but you know what's going to happen if you get one of them girls pregnant, right? You know our culture. And of course, he got the female, sister pregnant out there in Colombia. She goes back to the States and does what? What y'all think she did in the chat? What do you think y'all did? Because he's in Colombia. He don't want to settle down. All right. He's having fun. He's living out there like I'm living out there. What do you think the sister did when she got back to the States? All right. What do y'all think she did in the chat? Did she A, put him on child support ASAP? Or did she play it cool and let him send whatever he wanted to send? What y'all think in the chat? I got another super chat here, man. Shout out to you. Growth Talk with $2 super chat. Georgia, Atlanta Metro is nasty with these laws. Oh, yeah, for sure. Somebody said she went, what up, Cortez? Said she went to search. Yeah, there you go, Punch Travel. She put his ass on child support. She put him on child support. ASAP, my man ain't traveled since, as far as I know. As far as I know. He has not been able to travel since. So this can happen all types of ways. All right. Either it's going to damage your finances to where you don't have a surplus to be able to save, to be able to invest, to be able to travel. Okay. Or at this point, since they lowered it to $2,500, hey man, that's messed up. It's a lot of guys that I'm pretty sure owe more than $2,500. But before we go, I'm going to give you guys a solution. I'm definitely going to give you guys a solution before we go. All right, I had to come here by somebody. Somebody said, of course, the dark skin, one of the light skin dude DNA. You know how it go. You know we got that colorism in our community too. You know how that shit goes. It's always going to be dark, light skin, dark. You know how that shit goes. As that, shout out my man, that's a coach in the building. Hey, we rolling today. I don't remember the last time I went in Raw. Shit. Hold on, family. Hold on. I'm about to go off camera real quick. Hold on. Give me 1 second. All right. Let me, where we at? All right. Okay. Let's see if we still got camera. All right. We're a little blurry. Let me let my camera sync back up in a second. We'll do no cam for a while. All right. Passport salvation. You know what's funny, man? You know what's funny? Like I say, these sisters were actually pretty cool. They were actually pretty cool. The one that threw my man's on child support, you know, she was like, I mean, she looked nice. It was like three of them, and yeah. They were cool though, man. I'm not the type of dude that's, you know, see some sisters from the States, I ain't gonna talk to them. Keith with the clips says, what's good, Mr. Stark? But I'm tapped in now. We'll be in the hemisphere soon. Salute. Oh, you come to Thailand soon. Shout out to you, brother. Somebody said, why the fuck would you have up to say with a random Keisha? Listen, man, I warned players. I warned them. You know, I warned them. I said, hey, man, you know. So this is the thing. This is the formula. See, when they travel, the sisters travel, they're looking for mainly brothers. You know, they might want to date out, they might can. Some of them might, you know, date interracially, whatever. But for the most part, they want to link with brothers, okay? Because they feel safer, especially in Colombia. They feel safer. And 9 times out of 10, the American brother has more resources, you know, to date. So they want to be with us. But we want to be with the local women. And that's where the problem comes in at. So as you can see, she's definitely going to have an ulterior motive. If you get her pregnant, she's going to go back to the States and put you on child support because she wants you back in the States with her. All right? How you think a sister's going to feel if you in Colombia and she's back in the States and she know the game? She been to Colombia. She lives in Colombia too. How you think she's going to feel when she's got the baby, got a newborn baby? You know, she's staying up all night and you partying in goddamn Colombia. Of course you're going to throw your ass on child support. Jazzy Clutch says, salute the BMT, the chat. Let me see if my camera back. Okay, my camera's still warping a little bit. Hopefully it'll come back in a second. You know, I like to be cammed up. All right, peace, stream app 2s, and have a good stream. I'm gonna come by there soon, brother. Cortez Smith said, "Do you have the baby bug?" Yeah. Listen, man, I've had the baby bug before. You know, I know a lot of brothers. You know, you got different levels of it. Some brothers had their babies early on. Some brothers, like myself, you know, had their babies a little later on in life. So yeah, you know. At one point, I think all brothers want to have a seed, they want to have a kid. But the issue is, And I'm gonna be very frank with you guys. This is not to bash anybody or generalize a whole entire community of women, but let's be honest. And we can be honest. We can be logical. We men, in a lot of cases, the women have not been programmed or cultured for you to be able to raise your child. They're so used to a certain program that they already know that when they get pregnant by you, they're gonna get on Section 8, they're gonna get on child support, they're gonna get government benefits, they're gonna get their apartment, or they're just gonna run you through the mud because they saw their mom do the same thing with their dad. In America, being a parent, being a father in general in our community is more like a financial thing than actually raising your kid. See, the thing about it, they get to eat their cake, eat it too in most cases, because they can throw 1 or 2 men on child support and they can still be promiscuous within the community. All right? That's just the formula, man. That's just what it is. So 9 times out of 10, and especially right now, the black community is cooked. The black community is so cooked right now. Like, there's a huge problem that nobody, Dr. Umar, Tariq Nasheed, none of these guys will actually tell you the real ills. Even Anton Daniels, they won't tell you the true ills of our community. All right? But I'll tell you, 9 times out of 10, if you got a son, it's going to be increasingly difficulty for him as he gets older to find a proper mate to start a family with. These are facts. I'm not going to go into the details because we're talking about child support, but these are just facts. I wish my camera would come back on. These are just facts, man. And none of these so-called pro-blacks would talk about it because they can't, because we don't own our own distribution system of content, and they feel like they'll get their channel demonetized or banned. So they really won't speak on real, true issues. But I'm telling you right now, there's a huge problem when it comes to the social relationships in the United States in concerns of definitely the black community. Okay, there's a huge problem. Okay, big problem, especially in Atlanta. I just say this. I'm gonna go into details. All right, I just give you guys so you know what I'm talking about here. Listen, last time I went to Atlanta, bro, they were studs every goddamn where. Studs all over the goddamn place, at the airport, in the Uber, at the mall, at the bar, the restaurants. Who our sons gonna date if everybody studs? They putting something in the water in Atlanta, man. Now Umar won't talk about shit. Let me tell you something about Dr. Umar. Dr. Umar said that he would date, marry, and impregnate Sukiyana. If y'all don't know who Sukiyana is, that's the ratchet ass rapper female. Talk about booty holes and shit all in her raps and shit like that. All right. Same thing with Tariq. Shout out to Tariq. I still watch some of Tariq's content. I like what he's doing with the FBA, But even with Tariq, he said he liked Megan Thee Stallion. I'm just like, y'all niggas know y'all be pandering to the sisters, boy. Y'all gotta get them damn donations. Y'all gotta pander, right? Worst thing a man can do is have a kid with a modern Western woman. They are raised with independence. Exactly, piece of the clips. Exactly. You hit the head on the marker right there. And this does not have to do with bashing or anything like that. This is just telling the goddamn truth. Worst thing a man can do is have a kid with a modern Western woman. They are raised for independence and not cooperation. Now, there is a formula, and guys, I apologize for not being cammed up. All right, after the camera on is charging right now, so work with me here a little bit. But there's a formula to it. All right, there's a formula to it. If you can find a woman that was raised in a 2-parent household, that helps a lot, especially if the parents are still married and the dad is not a pushover dad. All right, he's staying 10 tones down on disciplining his family, running his family. All right, that's kind of rare. It's probably about 30-40%. All right, but you can find it. She's going to look at she's going to look at the family structure much different than a woman that grew up 9 times out of 10 without a dad. 2026 FBA free. Somebody said stud convention. Listen, man. Listen, man. Who are our sons going to date? And why so many women are participating in that? That's some loser shit, in my opinion. That's some loser shit. If you got to pay for you know what I'm saying, you sitting there going to the shop and buying your phallus. Well, I'll put it to you like that. Phallus, goddammit. You got to go in the shop and pay for it, and you getting poked by another woman. That's some loser ass shit. That's some loser ass shit right there. Ray Hannaford said Tariq also liked and praised Beyonce. I never had an issue with Beyonce. Beyonce misleads women. Beyonce been married for 20 goddamn years. Okay. I don't think she was truly ever out there like that. She had 2 parents for the most part growing up. But she raps like as if she's a single woman. Because she's rapping and catering to her audience base. You know, most of our audience is single. Somebody said them studies crashing out now. Studies are very violent, man. They're the most violent group. All right? They're the most violent group. FBA is anti-passport, bro. I don't want to say all that. Somebody said 2-parent household girls are delusional with their expectations. It depends on the type of dad that they had. It depends on the type of father they had. You're talking about fathers, you know, that came from maybe an upper class family or something like that. Yeah. But that delusion is everywhere. It's just not in the States. That delusion is everywhere, bro. That's all over the world. Somebody said Beyonce just released new music pandering to losers. All right. But let's go here. I want to show this right here. Hold on. I want to show this image right here. Because you know here, if we state an issue, we will always come up with a solution. That's what we do. We men over here. All right. We don't do theoreticals or anything like that. We don't do theory. All right. And we're not doing the paralysis by analysis where we're going to talk in circles about the issues. Top 7 countries Americans can get a second passport. You know what's interesting, man? I met a cat in Medellin. This cat had a Jamaican passport. I think he had like a Belizean passport. White cat, white guy. You know, cool as hell. You know, he was telling me how you get all these multiple passports. He was like, man, listen, America got too many stipulations on taxation and child support orders. You know, you need to invest in a second, third passport. All right. So here's some countries where you can get your second passport. All right. Paraguay is one. All right. Time of citizenship, 5 years. Now keep in mind, guys, you got to do your own research as well. All right. It's just, some quick facts right here, but do your own research. All right. You got Argentina here for two years. You can get your second passport. Between $5,000 and $20,000. Now, I will say this. I was approached when I was in Brazil by a Brazilian friend of mine who had a cousin. And, you know, in Brazil, they was talking about, you know, this as well, where, you know, there's really no real money costs associated with it versus you just paying for your own fees. But you got Peru, you got Colombia, you got Brazil, you got Portugal. Okay. Portugal is kind of expensive. But you got Argentina with $5,000, $20,000 in legal fees and documents. 2 years. Argentina seems to be the best. All right. And it has a pretty strong passport, 171 visa-free destinations. Okay. Paraguay is pretty up there. Brazil is pretty good. You know, it's Brazilians in Thailand right now. It's like Brazilians in Pattaya, by the way. All right. 4 years, potentially shorter with marriage or family ties. Like I said before, when I was in Rio, I was approached by a friend who had a cousin that was like, listen, you can get Brazilian citizenship, I can get U.S. citizenship, and we just pay each other fees. Okay, so that's a play too. This is like a natural progression to being, what I call it, not just a passport, bro, but just globalizing basically. What's the goddamn word I want to say? What's the word I want to say, family? This is a natural progression, owning properties, owning businesses overseas, and having second passports. Okay? All right, got another super chat here. Sponsor of the show. Shout out to my man Super Absolute with $100 super chat, man. I really appreciate that. Had to get back on and say, get a good Thai girl to help you run your business and to hold you down to take care of you well. Be careful of fake people. Mad love to you, brother. You have to teach me a little StreamYard next time we meet up. Yeah, most definitely, man. StreamYard is like the most simple. I don't do all the OBS and all that other stuff, but StreamYard is pretty simple. Okay. No, it's not SPAT. Man. Appreciate you once again for the sponsor of the show today, Super Absolute with $100. No, it's not expat. It's global. It's a global. God damn it, not global trendsetter. I know it's globalizing. What's the word I want to say, man? For people that have assets all overseas, where it concerns of businesses, properties, multiple Airbnbs, second passports. Somebody said, what about DR? DR didn't come up, man. DR didn't come up. But like I said before, Yacht Colombian takes 5 years. I know a couple of people that did the Colombian passport. All right. I think Brazil might be the best bet personally, outside of Argentina and Paraguay. All right. There you go. Appreciate his answer, Clutch. He said it. Geo arbitrage. Yes. Geo arbitrage, which guys have been doing for quite some time. Okay, geo arbitrage. It's a natural progression. Now, I'm not saying to do this because you owe back child support or you want to avoid child support. That's not what I'm telling you guys. But I'm telling you guys that, yeah, having a second passport, having different options. I got a friend of mine that has a Jamaican passport. Okay, it's a good thing to have in your tool belt. All right, so let's go back to the chart real quick. We got Peru, 2 years. Argentina, 2 years. Colombia, 5 years. Brazil, 4 years. But like I say, marriage can make that shorter. Portugal, 5 years. Pretty expensive in Portugal. All Europe pretty expensive. All Europe pretty expensive. And I believe the Caribbean islands are kind of expensive too. But I know the guy I met in Colombia, he had a plug. He actually had a plug within the government of one of those countries that you can pretty much pay to get a second passport and pay for citizenship. So like I say, don't take this list verbatim, family. Do your own research, and it's best to go to the country and ask around, all right? Ask a lawyer about gaining citizenship so you can get a second passport, because in a lot of cases, these fees can be adjusted in quotations. Let me just say that. In quotations. Right? Right? Let's see what y'all say in the comment section. Somebody say, thank God I'm tired of no conversation with no solutions. We all talking about the solution. That was one of the main reasons I started my YouTube channel, man. And I want to give a shout out to my man BGS, Obsidian. I want to give a shout out to all of them, all right, because I was one of those guys early on. Shout out to O'Shea Duke Jackson. Shout out to Mr. Jap. Even though Mr. Jap be throwing shots at the Passport Bros. Shout out to all them brothers, man, that started early on in the black manosphere. What I saw, and I got ran off of panels. I tell you guys all the time, I got ran off of panels, all right, because I was talking about traveling even back then. All right, rest in power to Charles Tyler. Shout out to the Black Man's Options Facebook group. It changed my life. All right, that's where all this seeded at. All right, we got 9 in the room, guys. Do me a favor, hit that like button. Hit that like button for you guys. But I was going on panels. They would have 8-hour panels. 8-hour panels on the ills of dating in America. All right, 8-hour panels. Not just say, hey man, men protest with their feet. They talk about this, that, and the other. Sisters this, sister that. And I always came on with a solution. I said, hey man, they got black women in Brazil, right? There are black women in Colombia. And I will admit this: when I first got to Colombia, I didn't even know anything about Afro-Latinos like that. All right. I will admit that. When I got to Colombia, I was just like, damn, these black people, black people in Colombia? Like, a lot. Even in Brazil to a certain degree. I mean, I knew about Afro-Brazilians because I saw City of God. Shout out to that movie, City of God. But I'm like, okay. And their mentality is much different than the mentality of the women in the States. But early on, and all these guys are now Passport Bro fans now. Not fans, but they all represent the Passport Bros to a certain degree or speak highly in good favor of the Passport Bros. But I've been speaking on this shit for 10 years, and my message has not changed. Men don't sit around and do paralysis by analysis and talk in circles for 8 hours every fucking Saturday. They find a solution, and in some cases, they got to protest with their feet. Okay? Where we at? Yeah, man, shout out to Black Man's Fear. Yeah, do me a favor, hit that like button. Man, listen, I'm gonna tell you guys, I was insulted, ran off of panels. All right, they talk about me, talk about my mama, my family. They called me a coward, all because I said, hey man, you guys gotta get that passport, man. You gotta travel. Y'all get in the States. Okay? It's really simple. All right, if you don't like one city, you don't like one block, go to another one. It's that simple. But in a lot of cases, before this Passport Bros ideology or movement, if you want to call it, got so big, a lot of those guys would do consultations like the dating coaches, and they kind of want you stuck, still trying to solve the problems of dating issues in the States in America. So the Passport Bros took a lot of content market share away from certain dating coaches, certain content creators. Okay. My man Edwin says, BMT, my wife is from Easton. She's Afro-Asian. Shout out to you, Edwin Thomas, man. See, a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't be knowing that. Yeah, I don't know if you call them, that's the thing, I don't know if you call them Afro-Asian. I've heard them call themselves black. They call us Negro. But I don't know, do we call them Afro-Asian? I don't know if that's a term for black Asians. I didn't even know black Asians existed until I got to Thailand. I remember when I first got to Thailand. Bro, and I seen a boat driver or a Grab driver who was Wesley Snipes black, but looked Japanese. It bugged me out. So I'm staring, I'm being a little rude. I'm staring, I'm looking at him. I'm like, hey, what are you? You know what I'm saying? He looking at me, I'm looking at him. I'm like, but you darker than me. So it just wowed me when I first got out here. And it wowed me even when I was in Cambodia and I was seeing, I guess you want to call them Afro-Asians, the brown-skinned Asians. I was wild by it. All right, shout out to my man, Super Aptitude, with another $2 super chat, man. I really appreciate all the support, brother. He says, coming from a former corporate analyst of 22 years, fam, please get your money. Stocks, forex, 401ks, ETFs, etc. Most definitely. Investing is very important. And we did a good video. We actually did a really good video about that. Guys, check out the video I did with Cerebral Aptitude talking about investing and how he changed his financial trajectory as well. And I appreciate the super chat. I said, XVYJCO says, now these same dating coaches are now overseas saying how much better is it. Hey, listen. I would consider my man, Coach Greg Adams, a dating coach per se, but I know he want to. You know what's funny? Shout out to Coach Greg Adams. I heard he want to link or meet, so we definitely got to do that. But I remember when somebody reached out to me and said that Kevin Samuels wanted to talk to me about Colombia. He's like, hey man, Kevin Samuels want to holler at you. I'm like, word. And this is the funny thing. Kevin Samuels already previously knew about me because I was on the BGS panels. All right, we would be on the same panels. This is Kevin Samuels before he even had a big, huge channel. But you know what? His channel had took off really fast though, because he was doing self-improvement on style and everything about black men first. So his channel took off about 300K kind of relatively fast. But he already knew about me. And I just hate that I missed that call, man. I think I was in Colombia, I was in Medellin, I was in the streets or something. I was doing something to where I missed the call. And I'm pretty positive it was Kevin Samuels. And unfortunately, Kevin Samuels passed away like a month later. I never got a chance to talk to him. All right. Xerxes Clutch says, so hold on, before I get to that. Little man, the OG says CGA is a full passport, bro. You know, we gotta talk. Hey, listen, man, we gotta talk to Greg. I can't wait to interview Greg Adams, man. You know, hopefully he'll come on for an interview when he gets back to Thailand. He says, I'm using this time back stateside to buy some stocks, Intel, Micro and Palantir. Have been great for me so far. This is not financial advice. All right. So is the word we use Blasian? Is that the word we use? Or do we use Afro-Asian? I don't know. Somebody says CJ Griffey hard. I think he was critical in the Passportbros early on. All right, I think he was. If I'm not mistaken, I think I might have made a comment or did a show about CGA, but I like CGA. It be dudes that be throwing shots at us that actually like their content. I like their character. I've always liked Coach Greg Adams. All right. Edwin says, bro, go to Royette Tyler. There are a lot of Afro-Asians. Is it Royette? Spell that one more time for me. Is that the way you spell it, Edwin? Bro, go to Royette Tyler. There are a lot of Afro-Asians there, and African Americans are slowly moving there. You know, listen, man, you know, I would love to have like a little expat community somewhere. I think that would be dope. I think that would be really dope. But I always like Pattaya, man. I love the infrastructure in Pattaya. You know, I've been to the countryside. It's just too slow for me, man. I'm a city guy. Not necessarily like got to be Manhattan or nothing like that. But I need some skyscrapers around my ass, man. Pause. You know, I went to up there through East Side and all that. That's that country living, for real. That's that real deal country living right there, brothers. You know. Somebody said Coach Greg, Tariq, and O'Shea are the same person. Shout out to O'Shea. I should be on O'Shea's show soon. You know, when your channel gets a certain size, man, and we don't have our own social platforms like that. We don't have our own systems of distributing content, which is a fatal mistake. I still think that the social media platforms are pushing the gender war, in my opinion. They're platforming prejudice and racist content creators as well. I think that's a detriment to our community that we don't own our own social networks, because we can choose, all right, who we decide to put in the algorithm and who we don't. Okay, so yeah, that's a, you know, it is what it is. We missed out on that train because it's going to be hard to get Black folks to go to any other social platform besides Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok at this moment. All right, at this moment. I think social media is generational. I don't think my kids going to be on TikTok or Instagram. They're going to have their own little social media platform. I think eventually they'll fade. All right. And I think niche communities are coming up as well. All right. I think people want to be in their tribe. I think the Facebook groups are very limited. They don't give us any reach or any emails or any type of data to where we can really reach out to all our community members. So I think guys are going to start, you know, more so forming their own communities on their own platforms, on their own websites and apps. I think that's going to be coming down the line pretty soon, because Facebook is fair book. They turn over all your information. All right. It's in their terms of service. Okay. I don't know why people think a private Facebook group is an asset. You know, you can't access it, but you can. Some needs migration, right, or immigrations are all within these Facebook groups, by the way. All right, by the way. So keep that in mind as well. All right, little man says agents are on the menu. Got a homie from Panama married to a Japanese woman, and my brother from Seattle married to a Korean in Korea. Everyone is going that route. Listen, man. Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be straight up above with you. All right, this applies to white men as well, all groups of men, but I'm talking about specifically black men. All right, who have limited dating options within their own community. All right, listen. In a perfect world, you'll be able to go up the street and meet you a little, neighborhood girl. You know her family. Her family knows you. She's a good girl. You get married, have some kids, start a business, and that's that. In a perfect world. But unfortunately, we are not in a perfect world. And we come from a somewhat limited, on what we can do within our own community. We got the parameters on our community. And some women feel they're entitled. Some women honestly feel like they're better than you. And you can't have a relationship where a woman thinks she's doing you a favor by being in a relationship with her. Okay? I'm not saying this is always the case, but you need to date globally at this moment in time. My man says, salute to all black men traveling. Keep doing your thing. Well, all right, family. We're not going to do a panel today. We will do a panel further on during the week. Like I said, guys, do me a favor. Make sure you check out those interviews. Right? A lot of good content. I suggest if you want to go to a country, you want to go to a certain country, definitely check out an interview within that country. If you want to go to Cambodia, want to go to Colombia, want to go to Brazil, or any other country, Albania, Kazakhstan. I've interviewed guys from all over the world. You get a lot of good information before you touch down. All right? Peace. We out.
As you can see,
Will begin revoking the passports of thousands of parents who owe a significant
Shout out to my boy BMT, man. Yeah, go cop the new merch.
What's up, family? Check out the official BMT World Store. Join the lifestyle.